Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ruby Writes Right podcast, the show for aspiring authors. I am your host, Ruby Edits, and today we are diving into the world of writing and publishing. If you've ever dreamt of becoming a published author, then this episode is for you. Sit back, relax, while I share my inspiring tips for aspiring writers like you. So let's dive into it. But before we get started, I would like to share a bit about my own journey as an author. Like many of you, I started with a passion for storytelling. I faced numerous challenges, but eventually I achieved my dream of becoming a self-published author, and I think that's a great place to start. You should just start. You don't have anything to be scared of. You don't have to wait for a big publishing house to sign you sometimes. And the option of using platforms like Kindle, Amazon, you can achieve your dream of being like a published author. So let's dive down to the tips. Yeah. So tip number 1, write regularly. I know, right? Well, I think the foundation of being an author is to write regularly. The more you write, the better you get. You need to set aside like a dedicated time each day or week to, put in those words. For me, I personally, when I was writing my first book, I put in the work to write at least 1,000 words a day. I think this helped me to just put myself together and put the work together and I have like a set time, and we could get, we as writers, we could get distracted by other things. But when we have like a set goal and we have like this number of words that we have to put in each day, it just keeps us more dedicated to, our craft. So this is bespoke to me. For you, you could write less or more a day, but the bottom line is to have like a specific time of the day when you write. And sometimes it doesn't have to be perfect, just put in those words and it will come together eventually. Speaking of coming together eventually, that brings us to our second point, which is edit and revise. Writing your first draft is just the beginning. You would go back in and do those corrections. You may come up with new ideas. You may have like a picture of a different picture of what you wanted to write about, and you just keep iterating and reiterating, and so that's where the editing and revising comes into play. So you would always have to write to rewrite, and don't be afraid to edit and revise your work. That's just like normal. That's what writers do. And guess what? It doesn't end with just you. Your work is going to keep getting revised and edited by possibly more professionals like editors, professional editors. So this part is also, I think it doesn't end until your books are like literally on the shelf. So our third tip would be to seek feedback. Yep, you need to share your work with critic partners, or if you don't have like professional critic partners, you could join like a writing group online or physically around your area. You definitely need constructive feedback, which is extremely invaluable for growth as a writer or as a new writer. If probably you were like a big time writer who has like books out there before, you probably would have a team of people who whose job is to give you feedback, which is still circling back to the revise and edit tip, which I talked about before. So having genuine critique on your work is extremely invaluable for growth. It is extremely invaluable. So you need to surround yourself with people, especially people who are like mentors or people who are like better than you in what you're doing or in your genre, and you need to get regular feedback. You could send in a draft. You don't have to wait till you have like the whole draft written. You can actually send them bits and pieces of your draft for them to look at to be sure that you are on track. My next tip is it's okay to have another job aside from writing. A lot of writers obviously do have maybe their day job, and writing is probably their side job, which is fine. But then you have to have persistence in doing your craft. You can have your day job at the day, and then in the night you choose to write. And being persistent in just continually having a set goal and time to your craft just keeps you on track on everything. So a lot of people do aspire to be full-time writers and are lucky to be full-time writers, while some people like us do have to have another job to keep us sustained. I would say it's not a problem. You could totally be a published writer even if you don't have even though you don't have even if you have a full-time job, you can still be that writer that you really, really want to be. All you need to do is just be persistent. And by being persistent also, you never give up. Sometimes if you have your ideas shared with a publisher and you keep getting lots of no's about your work, you shouldn't be discouraged. Just understand that every no gets you closer to that yes that you're looking for. So persistence, whether you have a full-time job or this is your full-time job as a writer, and persistence when you're looking for that big publishing company to pick up your idea and bring it to life. Yeah. My fifth tip would be to understand the market. This is very important in writing. You don't want to write something that's irrelevant to people, or nobody wants to read, or nobody is interested in knowing. And understanding the market also means understanding the trends. It also means having a target audience. You can't be a fiction writer and be a non-fiction writer at the same time. I don't know how that's going to be but if you have a specific genre that you write, say maybe you write mostly fiction comedy or drama, or you write novels or so on and so forth, you have to keep up within that audience that you're writing for. It just keeps you in that how do I put it? It just keeps you in that box of professionalism, that this is your field and this is what you could or would be identified as this writer that writes comedy fiction or science fiction or so on and so forth. So you have to keep an eye on publishing trends. You have to understand the market. You have to understand what the readers are looking for, maybe in your region or in your location, and so on and so forth. And that just keeps you relevant in the market, and it keeps publishers also interested, because you're writing within what they are looking for. So understand the market. Yep. My sixth tip would be to build an author platform. Building an author platform is very essential as a writer. So now maybe your books are out there, or they are not, or they're just still in the works. You don't know. You need to establish an online presence, maybe through social media, maybe a website or a blog. It's just a great way to connect with your readers and industry professionals. Also, if you a more published author, you've had books out there, and you could have a readers conference where a reading club or something, just anything to have people get to know you better and get to know what you do as a writer. And as a new writer, obviously you don't have a book yet, or you do have a book that is not popular. The best way I would think is social media. Having the Instagram of like a little bit or snippet of your work out there gives people an idea of what is to come when the work is complete, or it just gives people an idea of who you are as a writer. And having like a website or a blog just keeps people, currently updated with what you have to offer. Like I said, it's a great way to connect with your readers and industry professionals, publishers, possible publishers or prospective publishers can actually go back and refer to these platforms that you have created to see what your readers are really interested in, and be able to fine-tune your work to fit the feedback they have gotten from your own personal platform. Tip number 7 is time management. I am re-emphasizing on time management again because I think I've said it before. Effective time management is crucial to balance your writing with other responsibilities for you to stay productive. Is extremely essential. As a writer, especially as a new writer, it is very tempting to get carried away by other activities of the day. For some writers, they even pick a time frame, maybe travel somewhere, and then go for a writer's holiday or vacation or something, and they just stay there and then they just write. That's what works for them, and then when they come back they just do whatever. For some others like us, we have our daily lives to live by and we have to work daily. So for me, I usually just work during the night, maybe 1 or 2 hours. I'll be able to come up with 1,000 words, and I know that this specific time, say 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. is writing time, and I need to put in 1,000 words. So that just keeps me on check. And I probably would say I would do this 3 times a week or 4 times a week. So that's very specific. You have to have proper time management as a writer to be extremely to stay productive and very effective and productive in writing your draft. Another tip is networking. Networking is literally an opportunity to open doors. Sometimes just sitting down and being in your own space or corner doesn't put you at an advantage point to reach the goals that you want to reach as a published writer. So I think networking with fellow writers, possibly on LinkedIn or on Googling other websites of other fellow writers like yourself, attending literary events or engaging with the writing community gives you an opportunity to endless possibilities of who you don't know where you're going to find that big break in terms of getting the right publisher, or just generally learning more from these other writers. So networking is extremely essential for a writer. I know that I attend a lot of these literary events, book shows or book reviews or book launches. These places just gives you an idea of not just being just a better writer, but also meeting people within your field and industry. So network. Go out there and get yourself seen and get yourself heard. You never know where your big break would come from. So this is my second to my last point, which is to embrace critique. It is something I said about edit and revise, sending your work to people to look at it and give you feedback. This is still literally the same thing, but then it is more specific because you have to be open to constructive critiques of your work. No one is perfect. Nobody has all the ideas in the world. And it just helps you to improve when you get that regular feedback on your work, and you just keep evolving and growing and just getting more and more experience in your work. Getting a mentor that is better than you and who knows the industry more is always an edge to being obviously better. So and sometimes it doesn't even have to be like a publisher or someone even directly within the field. I also honestly feel that giving your work to like the end user, which is like the reader at the end of the day, gives you even more edge in terms of understanding what the final market, which is the readers, think of your work. So giving it to even unexperienced people to read your work and then get like real feedback, genuine feedback, is also an avenue for you to get feedback that can help you to evolve and better your work. So never feel bad if you get like the bad response, like, oh, I'm not feeling this, I don't think it's hitting the nail on the head and stuff like that. Don't feel bad when you get like a bad critique. It's a good thing that it's, even if it's all good, then you would never know if you need to improve or not. You have to be open to bad critiques, and you have to accept them as a learning curve for you to improve. My final point is going to be market yourself. Yes, I said that. It's not just the work of your publisher or to do the whole work to market your work and you. You also, as the author, have to put yourself in the right places. You have to put yourself out there by yourself. And this, I think, you can do by using your personal social platforms, like your Twitter, your Instagram, or your Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever platform that you can use to share your stories with the world, to promote yourself. It's like the best. Like, you are your best advocate. No one else is going to be able to tell your story the way you would. So no matter how professional or no matter the company you're using, I always feel that we writers are the best people to tell our own stories the way we want the world to perceive them. So go out there and put yourself out there and just tell people about your wonderful work. And to sum up this wonderful episode, I would just say becoming a published author is an incredible journey. Keep writing, stay professional, and remember, rejection is just a step on the path to success. Yeah. So, future published writers, if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave me a review. I have my writer's blog attached to my channel. You could go visit my blog website where I put in my writing blog entries. It is also rubywritesblog.com, and you could just play around and just read my stuff. And don't forget to follow me on my Instagram, and you could share this podcast with your fellow writers and just join our community of aspiring authors. Thank you for joining us today, and I really appreciate you listening to the very end, and keep writing. Enjoy and bye. See you in the next episode.